Hello, this is a very quick, I say very quick, so that's going to be under 2 hours, talk about what next, Doctor Who. So, we had approximately 15 seconds of 2023 Doctor Who given to us last night. What do we think? And why? There are three of you. One of you must think something.
It looks very exciting. In the little preview that we've got bang, we got Tennant there. We've got exploding cars. We've got the is he or isn't he the toy maker. We have and then of course the most important thing is that we have a little bit of the new Doctor, Ncuti Gatwa. So yes, exciting.
And that was a nice touch in the clip, wasn't it? Because I was thinking, we got to the end of the special, and everyone's been talking about is she going to regenerate into Ncuti or to David? And obviously went into David. And I'm thinking, okay, so we're not going to get a look at Ncuti here, and then we get a little glimpse, and it's really good.
Yeah, I was pleased because I thought they weren't going to show Ncuti until maybe the end of the David Tennant specials, and then I think it was released that the David Tennant specials are not going out until November next year. I have to say,
wasn't there quite a heavy rumor that there was a Christmas special, James?
Yeah, there was. I mean, there was heavily rumored that they were going to do one at New Year. Because and even when at the end of the episode it said Doctor Who will return in 2023, you'd think, well, that would be New Year's Day because we've got so used to that. But no, they're apparently all going to be in November. These three episodes. But it like you say, I mean, it sort of showed us our main characters for what's coming up. I think it was, in a very short space of time, it was very exciting. You know, it made you sort of want to know what's going on, and how have we got David Tennant back?
And is it the toy maker or isn't it? That's the big question here, isn't it? Because to me, I just wonder if that's just too obvious.
It's heavily rumored, isn't it? And we previously on our previous recording, we were talking about the regeneration sequence and how this is the first time that the clothing has changed in the regeneration. So it kind of, the end of the last one indicated that something slightly different might have happened. So don't know. I'd love it to be the toy, Celestial Toy Maker. I'd love it to be that, because you can get away with a lot of things, if that's the case. But we wait to find out.
I think apparently from Hartnell to Troughton, the clothes changed slightly. Maybe not a complete change, but I think that's the only other instance, apparently.
Ooh. And his ring falls off, doesn't it? Because his hand's too small. Is that right?
That is true. But who's to say the regeneration here actually hasn't been tampered with in some way? Because if you think about it, it's clear, I think, to me at the end of the special that the Master actually, I think, escapes that thing. So who's to say this isn't the Master or something that's going on in a similar way? But I think something or an influence or some force here has stopped the regeneration mid-flow almost, and that's where you're sort of getting this retrospective. However, though, I've seen today that David Tennant is being talked about now as the 14th Doctor, and Ncuti is being talked about as the 15th Doctor. So maybe, I don't know.
Didn't Russell say that Ncuti's 15th, but that didn't necessarily confirm that David was the 14th? And there's an timey-wimey, isn't it? I suppose because there could be another. And I suppose there's also that little bit, unless I'm misremembering because I'm old, the bit where they were talking to the doctors on the edge of the cliff. They're like, this is where we go, because some don't like to go over the cliff, some like to linger in the conscience. So is that an inference that he didn't want to regenerate and then he'd come back and the chance to? I don't know.
Because he is, because technically Tennant regenerated but decided to stay as himself, didn't he? Because that when it came to the 50th anniversary, they explained that Tennant had used up a regeneration but was so vain he wanted to stay as the Doctor, so he regenerated and stayed the same.
Yeah, it gets very confusing, doesn't it? Especially there's that bit in whatever episode it is where the Dalek shoots him and then he's like, oh, I'm regenerating, and then he's sort of not. And then, of course, you've got the alternate Doctor who then stays in the other dimension with Rose.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, it gets very, very complicated, doesn't it?
And they've given him a different outfit, which again, people are like, well, maybe it's the alternative universe Doctor because he's got a different outfit to the regular one.
I just think it's an opportunity to redesign, if I'm honest with you. I'm not convinced this is alternate universe. That I'm not getting that vibe, because if you look at Shooty in the clip as well, that is Shooty in the same costume as the current, as David Tennant has regenerated into, just with the tie undone and the shirt.
Yeah.
Maybe Dave is like, do you know what? I'm not doing the ankles and boots thing. It does not flatter. I'm not going to do it. Sorry. Get me a suit. Get me a nice suit. I agree with Jason. I think I don't. I'm willing to be proven wrong as well. But I mean, there is that thing of reading a lot into a little, and sometimes attributing things to things that you sort of, Doctor Who fans love the patterns and all that stuff. It's the Celestial Toymaker, because Celestial Toymaker's coming out on vinyl next month. That's the big clue. I like that notion that Demon Music are like, this is what we'll do. We'll release the vinyl of it because he's coming back, not because we're literally doing them in the sort of in sequence, trying to get rid of them. But yeah, it does feel like you would redesign the costume. I think it'd be a bit strange if he just rocked up in the same brown pinstripe. Maybe.
But do we think
who's to say it may not fit anymore either if the costume is even there?
I know it's not on the trailer, but I loved the bit where he said, "Oh, I recognise these teeth," because it was such a lovely callback to when he first regenerated, and it's frustrating that you're not going to know for so long, that you have to wait until next year November to find out more. But
my feeling is here we're going to get teased quite a lot.
Oh yeah,
the course of the next 12 months. We're gonna have little snippets, and I think what you'll find here now, the publicity will step up massively as we head into next year. And what we're going to see is a different level of marketing. We've got a brand manager again back in Doctor Who, and I think this is all part and parcel of the tease. And I think we'll get. Who's to say we don't get a little something next year?
I was going to say, do you think we'll go through the whole festive period with nothing?
Yes, I do. I genuinely don't think we're getting anything this Christmas. I think they'd have been vague with those dates. It's been quite clearly communicated that it's absolutely November. It's the anniversary, the 60th anniversary. Sort of these are the anniversary specials that we're going to get.
So you think we're going to get 3 in November then?
That's what the press said.
Yeah, and it's stated that it's festive for Shooty. So potentially our Christmas special will be his first story.
Interesting.
I mean, we've got all sorts of bits. I mean, I suppose there's a logo reveal as well. That's got to come in the new year, the Doctor Who brand, because the new logo is presumably going to go on all the anniversary merchandise and all that sort of stuff. So that can't be far off, because a lot of the anniversary stuff's coming up and coming out, isn't it? So, logo can't be that far off, I wouldn't have thought. You can throw the perils of everyone worrying about the collection, whether it's going to line up with a different logo or they're going to keep the old logo on that. And in fairness, it was only the Chibnall regime, for want of a better thing, that were set on every Doctor Who merchandise item having the same logo. They didn't want different items having different logos. That was that. Whereas when Russell and Stephen were doing it, it was like, this is the TV series thing, and your Big Finish, you can have that logo for that. Or it was less, everything has this logo on it if it's Doctor Who. So there might possibly be a sort of return to that, because if they're going to do different Doctor Who iterations and the multiverse, which is much talked about, you would possibly have different logos and different sort of iterations for all of those. So maybe it'll be back to having sort of separate classic branding, new branding, alternate branding.
And that would make so much more sense. Honestly, it would make so much more sense doing it.
All those tri-reversible sleeves everyone's going to have to start investing in.
Every DVD will come with 12 different sleeves with all the different logos on it.
And the bit, I mean,
buy every version of everything, and it's just going to be like, everyone, no money to do this.
Gosh, if they're paying 100 quid for a photo with David Tennant, then they'll pay for 12 DVD covers. Is Mel back though? That's the left field one, because there was that talk about someone saying something about Catherine Tate saying, well, what about Mel on location? And then of course now we know that TV's Bonnie Langford was back in the last one as Mel. Is she back?
I was convinced that was a miscommunication somewhere, and that Mel was in the last shot when Graham had his group together, and that was what they'd picked up on. But we've previously been talking about how did Mel get back to Earth, so who knows?
I think I would put a canny penny on maybe a couple familiar faces from the past making appearances in the next few stories.
Well, it would make good sense, seeing as it's our 60th anniversary stories.
And now we have a group of ex-companions that are all working for UNIT.
We have a Doctor who can travel in time and space. You could see the ones that aren't on planet Earth if you wanted to.
Indeed, he could go and visit all that lot that weren't in the AA meeting.
It's all very exciting though, isn't it?
It is, and I think it does herald a change of direction. I think we've talked about this before a couple of times, and this is a great opportunity here to press a reset button. I'm actually not as. It is a shame we've got to wait until next November, but I think this is an opportunity to almost draw the line and allow the series now to sort of move on. And actually, to say we're not going to get anything until next November, of course, we're going to get spoilt rotten with all the filming spoilers, and because obviously they start filming next month in November, so we're going to start seeing it, and we're going to start getting lots of leaks and lots of speculation as we come through the year anyway. But no, I think this is probably the right move right now. Press that reset button, get all the new team in place, get the new direction in ready for the show, and start pushing it on to, I think, what will be the next generation for Doctor Who.
Also, I think it's David's probably the most recent resonator with a mainstream audience that you can say that get some interest back in the show, give it that kick. Because I think, and I'm not entering into Jodie's and Wokes and stuff, because actually I think Russell's going to be more woke than Chibnall's considered being. But I think the David reset for the public will be, oh, I liked it when David was on it 10 years ago or whatever, I'll give this a go. And it might just give it that little jolt. And then the kids all love Shooty. All the kids on the TikToks, they all know who he is. They all love all that. So I think it will just give it that push into a new arena, and it'll give it that new lease of life that it sort of feels a bit jaded now, and it's sort of faded a little bit, and it just like the flame on Khan, it just needs a little bit of a clear out in the chimney.
But it's also something that we've not done before. So the series has not traveled this journey before, and I think this is kind of nice. It's not just a regeneration from one actor to another actor and off we go, and press the reset button and off we go. We're having a chance here, I think, to do something that's quite experimental, that isn't going to crash the entire world's economy, let's face it, but we're doing something quite experimental here, and I think that's quite a nice signature start to what we're going to end up having.
Oh, I don't know. 3 episodes and they'll do a U-turn.
You'll flip back to Jodie on the Durdle door and she'll carry on. Back with the fam, back with me mates in Sheffield. I mean, I would say that off the back of, he has come back quite consistently. It'd be lovely to just get a couple of episodes with McGann as Doctor Who properly, doing a full length story. And the possibilities of a multiverse and stuff do open that up. And I think it would be nice. And McGann's got enough of a profile with the public to know who he is. if they don't, they'd know what Doctor Who is. And I think just be nice in the next couple of years there was something, maybe another 90 minutes on a bank holiday in May. They could give it every 30 years. You could have a bank holiday special or something.
Oh, that would be lovely. I mean, he was so even just in the little bit that he was in, he was so good. He is the Doctor we never really got to see.
Okay, someone regenerating in the background then. I don't know what that was all about. Anyway, I think that we're all there. Look at us, we're positive and we're optimistic about the future.
Yeah, and of course, the only thing is, on a sad note, this will be unfortunately our last view of Bernard Cribbins, because of course, as everyone knows, he was filming some of these specials that we'll get to see, and then sadly died before they all got to be finished. So yeah, it'll be sad to see him go, because I mean, he was a legend. You know, he was an amazing actor, and everyone loved him in Who. So yeah, it'll be nice.
Audrey Hepburn came back to advertise caramels after she died. Nothing's impossible.
Very true. Very true.
Peter Cushing's a regular in the Star Wars franchise. More so now he's not alive. He's come back for lots more. Anyway, that was me being very insensitive, but that's my humour and I apologise for it in advance. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
James was totally denied there. Totally denied. It's the wigs.
And
The static on the wigs normally pull the camera back to you. That's what it is. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff, and we should be there.